Well, good evening, everybody. I just wanted to come onto this live stream and we'll talk about the forecast for the rest of tonight, and especially as we go into this weekend, because as a lot of you know, we do have the possibility of getting some stronger storms our Saturday night going into our Sunday morning. So this is just a current look at our satellite and radar. We're seeing mostly clear skies. We started off this morning with a mix of sun and clouds, but as we got into the evening, the cloud coverage really shifted its way farther east, moving into parts of Alabama. Now, one thing that we did see for today is those winds shift. They became more southerly, which we talked about yesterday, and that just really helped to drive up our dew point, giving us a little bit more humidity this afternoon. Now take a look farther out to our east is a high pressure system giving us those southerly winds, but you can tell out to our northwest that cold front is moving its way closer and closer towards us. So as we get into Saturday night, that's when we'll see it start to really impact us. So here in the metro right now, about 77 degrees, the dew point in the lower 60s, so definitely a little bit more humid out there due to those southeasterly winds coming in at 7 miles per hour. So overnight, we're going to be starting off your Saturday morning in the mid 60s, so about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year. And the main reason why is because of that dew point being a little bit higher in that lower 60s. Our air temperature can't drop below that. So take a look, we'll just have a mix of sun and clouds as you're waking up early. By tomorrow afternoon, we are expecting temperatures to be warm again, getting into those upper 80s. But by the time we get into our late Saturday night, going into our Sunday morning, that's where we're going to start to see those storms really impact us. And we're going to have to be weather aware, as unfortunately there is going to be the possibility of some of them getting up to those severe limits. So we'll track it out. This is your Saturday morning, mix of sun and clouds as you're waking up at 7 a.m. We could see a little stray shower here and there right around noon, and then once we get to the late afternoon into the early evening, a few isolated showers and thunderstorms ahead of the main line of storms. As we get into the late night hours, here it comes. We get to around 10 o'clock, it's moving into North Mississippi throughout the Delta. It's starting to cross on over the Mississippi River. By midnight, that's when we can expect it to be closer to the Jackson metro area. Past midnight, it will shift its way farther down to the southeast, so between 1 to 2 a.m., it's pushing its way into our Pine Belt communities, and still a few lingering storms right around that 4 a.m. hour early on your Sunday morning. Now, by the time we're waking up, headed to church or anything like that throughout Sunday around 7 a.m., we should see the majority of our strong storms push its way farther out to the east, and we could see a lingering shower or two, but I think most of us should see those drier conditions already by early Sunday morning, which will be nice as people commute out to go into their services or anything like that. Now, we talked about it, we do have the severe weather risk, so starting off in the northern end of Warren County, Yazoo County, and Holmes, out to our north and northwest. That's where we have the slight risk, and everybody else under a marginal risk. So the main threat that we're really going to be watching out for is damaging wind gusts. However, there is going to be the possibility of a quick spin-up tornadoes, which is something we're going to have to keep an eye out for. Now, small hail could be a possibility, but a lot less likely. So the number one threat, really damaging wind gusts, and we're definitely have to going to watch out for those quick spin-up tornadoes. But luckily, when it comes to Saturday night into Sunday morning, we're going to have Storm Team 12 coverage, making sure we're tracking everything and letting everybody know whatever's headed their way. Now, we'll take a look at the timing real quick again, farther out to the northwest. Once we get to around, let's say, 8 p.m. to around 1 a.m., that's where you're going to expect those storms to be pushing into our Delta counties. Then once it goes farther down to the southeast, going closer to the Jackson metro, down to our southwest and northeast, 10 p.m. to about 3 a.m., then moving into the Pine Belt right around the midnight hour until about 5 a.m. For sure, by the time we get past 5 o'clock, we really should start to see that severe weather threat diminish and move out of the area. Now take a look at the total amount of rainfall we're expected with this system. I think most of us could see closer to an inch of rain with some isolated areas, maybe 2 to 3 inches. However, we're not expecting crazy heavy downpours because this frontal system is going to quickly move on in and quickly move on out. So it won't linger around for too long. Once that main line pushes through your area, it'll be out of there fairly quick. So that'll be the one nice thing about this cold front as it crosses over us. Now, of course, it's a cold front, which means we are going to see cooler temperatures. By the time we get to your Sunday, going into next work week, we're going to expect temperatures for our afternoon in those upper 70s, maybe a few of us in the lower 80s. So just closer to our average, lower humidity levels. Next week is really going to feel a lot more like fall and be fairly comfortable as you're stepping out the door. Now, we'll switch things up and talk about the tropics because we still got a few things going on. You can see we got one system in the northern end of the Atlantic Ocean. Luckily, we're not worried about it. It's pushing its way to the east away from the United States. However, what we are watching is a tropical wave that's in that southern part of the Atlantic, pushing its way west and is expected to cross on over into the Caribbean Sea. Now, with the Caribbean Sea, they're very warm waters, and whenever you get these systems starting to spin up inside of here, that's where they have the potential of possibly moving into the Gulf. Now, as of right now, our long-term models don't have this system moving in. It has it moving its way a little bit farther out to the north and going onto the east side of Florida. Of course, that can change. These are long-term models, and they get adjusted every couple of hours. So as of right now, nothing to worry about. We'll know definitely better as we get through this weekend and we get to next week. And of course, Storm Team 12 will keep on tracking this system. For right now, nothing to worry about. We'll keep on giving you the updates. Now, recapping your 8-day forecast real quick. For your Saturday, going into your Sunday. So the overnight event, cold front approaching the area, giving us some stronger storms. Just make sure to be weather aware and tuning in with us. We'll keep on tracking that system, especially by the time we get to tomorrow. Then, once that cold front passes next week, it's really going to feel a lot more comfortable. We're going to see high temperatures in those upper 70s, lower 80s across the Magnolia State. Mix of sun and clouds here and there, and maybe just a light shower coming in on a Tuesday. So I hope everybody has a good rest of your Friday. And like I said, I know I sound like a broken record. Just make sure to be weather aware.